Well, hello, my soul friends. It is Victoria with another live. Committed to doing these weekly, and it's it's time. Actually, I'm going to alternate now, going live every other week, and I am starting something else new. This is the year of new, people. First of all, before I get into all the newness, welcome to the Soul Channel. The Soul Channel. Welcome to the Soul Nurturer Channel. Erica, hi, sweetheart. Mwah. I love it. She knew I was going live. I'm not really announcing I'm going live because I'm still kind of in practice mode and just showing up when I feel a call and trying to keep a commitment of going live. It was going to be once every week. It's going to be every other week. But anyway, welcome to the Soul Nurturer channel. The intention of this channel is to hold sacred space for those of us on a spiritual path of unfolding, and those who resonate with the awareness that we are souls having a human experience. And in that, we must address both. How are we nurturing our souls? How are we paying attention to our souls? How are we honoring our soul wisdom? And how are we taking care of our human self? Self-care, soul care. I think that's what the Soul Nurture channel is all about. So I'm grateful to be your host. I do have sort of a vision, and I want to talk about vision a little bit today to expand this channel. This channel was what we call a soul call, when something that God puts something on your heart or soul brings to your consciousness to do. And it doesn't leave you alone. You keep getting that nudge, right? The soul nudge. I know I use the word soul quite a bit. I love the word soul. I love everything to do with soul. And so my soul call, the nudge I got was to start a YouTube channel in 2020 with shaky knees and not knowing why. And I still don't 100% completely know why, but I do vision. I do have a vision of this expanding, offering more support for those who need a place to tap in and to connect and to recognize we are all, we're all working something through here. That's why we're here. We're all trying to stay connected to the divine, to connect to God while we are navigating this human experience, right? So one of the things I did start is I invited one of my astrological teachers, a soul mentor, an astrological mentor, Stephanie Austin. She's going to be joining me once a month. You can go look at her introduction video. I posted it, I think, 2 weeks ago now. And then what I'm starting next week is I'm inviting in people who inspire me, who are practitioners, my soul warriors on this path of supporting others, practitioners, or anyone really who has their feet on the ground, their heart open wide, trying to support and love each other forward. So I'm inviting a friend, a soul friend, next Monday for an interview. Her name is Julia Anderson, and she is my first guest because she was the first one to invite me to an interview on YouTube. So she called me out of my comfort zone, and I want to invite her onto this channel because she has much to share about nurturing our potential, our bodies, and she's amazing, and you'll love her. So that interview will be next Monday. So today, what's on my heart? This is when I'm called to these lives, like, what's on my heart? What am I feeling? And I do invite you all right now to just tune in. For those of you watching the replay, Erica, you're live with me. Just a checkpoint, just a place to pause and put our hands over our heart and just ask, how am I doing in this moment? How is my heart? How is my soul? How's my mind? How's my body? And just a real quick checkpoint here. And I'm going to come back to a deeper meditation in a moment, but the reason why it's important, and I offer this almost every time I do a live, and even when I'm recording and uploading later, it's a good reminder that we need to pause often, to catch up with ourselves, to tune in, to connect to the Creator, I always have this image of, that self-care. Oh, okay, this is good. Kind of coming new in a way. Self-care, that old cliche, is when we put our oxygen masks on to get, fresh air so that we could help oxygen to help those around us. Soul care is putting on it's not a mask, it's connecting to that divine source and supply that's always available. That is that fresh perspective, that is the connection to the fruits of the spirit, to compassion and love and acceptance. And acceptance is what I'm going to be talking about today. When we need a reminder that we are souls having a human experience, and especially, and this is where I feel today, my heart is heavy in this world we live in, especially when you tune into the news and we can see and feel in our human experience the pain, the ugliness of the human experience. And I'm not going to get into too much of the news, but of course, there's been another police brutality, another killing. I'm not going to get into it more than to say this is in the collective right now. And whether you watch news or not, I mean, I tuned in and got, like Reverend Michael always says, tune in, get your prayer report. I tune in and I read the headlines and immediately I feel it. Immediately, for those of you who are empaths like me, we feel it. And even if you don't watch the news and you're a sensitive, highly sensitive empath, those are two separate categories, but I think they're pretty clumped together. You feel what's in the collective, we feel it, right? So I'm curious how you're feeling. Yes, we all have what's going on in our own worlds, and that's enough, right? A lot of the times when I'm talking to friends or clients, I always say that I used to, when I started my practice 20 years ago, it was a lot lighter, the work that I was doing. A lot, I was solution oriented. I was, transformational hypnotherapist. I still am. And my focus was all about to help people shifting quicker to get to the transformational place, which is beautiful. And I still do that work. But what I notice now, and I think it has to do with the astrology we've been moving through, this evolutionary cycle of, with all the Pluto and Capricorn, like really slowing down to learn our lessons, to see what's not working at a foundational level in ourselves, in the collective, in our systems. And it's been slow and arduous work. And we're tired. We're tired. I mean, anyone out there tired? But this year, we are moving in to much more, we're gearing up for a greater transformation. And so truly, my topic today is, I was praying, like, what do I want to bring to those who watch this channel, and thank you for those who do. And if you're new to this channel, do subscribe. I'm unfolding this in a snail pace for sure, but it's certainly still growing and changing as I'm growing and changing, as we all are growing and changing. But today's message of acceptance, I like to say, to meet ourselves right where we are. That was always it still is my philosophy in working with clients. I meet my clients where they are. And I use this metaphor of meeting them on their journey, and I ask them what's their vision for their future. What do they want? What do they desire? What's missing? And they paint that picture. And then we create what I call a soul visioning plan of action. But first, we have to be where we are. And so this invitation today, this conversation today, this exploration of the topic of acceptance. And Erica, you can chime in if you want to, if any questions about acceptance, or what does acceptance mean to you? Acceptance, though, is an absolute, it's soul medicine. I use that term, soul medicine. I use it in a way to talk about what we cultivate to out of where we're wounded, like the wounded healers that many of us are. where we're wounded, we cultivate the soul medicine. It comes from our soul as the remedy. Well, then there's these spiritual principles, and acceptance is one of them. Surrender, I talk about a lot. There's acceptance, though, and acceptance felt really needed today. So acceptance, a lot of people have pushback with acceptance because it's kind of like, I don't want to accept this. I don't want to accept where I am. I don't want to accept that I'm heavier than I want to be. I don't want to. And what we resist, you've heard this, I'm sure, what we resist persists. So if you resist acceptance, you're going to be still stuck in the issue. I know it seems counterintuitive, right? But so acceptance, it is a healing balm, again, that meets us right where we are, that allows us to meet other people where they are. And I feel like acceptance is needed so much, more than ever. And I'm wondering if anyone out there, can relate to this. Again, if you're watching the replay, comment. Comments not only help me know that I'm touching something in you, I'm connecting to you out there, but it also helps me, from what I understand, expand my outreach in YouTube. Something about an algorithm, I don't know. but I love to watch and read the comments or likes. So when you're watching the replay, do comment, like, and share a clip of the video if you'd like. So acceptance is that place in the transformational cycle. Oh, this is where I wanted to go. I was starting to say, if you're like me, and maybe this is, again, I speak from my experiences because I know that we're all so connected, but we don't always name it. We don't always name what we're experiencing, or we don't know how to name it. We don't even know what it is. But what I have noticed since the pandemic, I think the pandemic put us all in a forced, not, well, it was forced, but really a purposeful slow down to do some deeper healing, to do some deeper transformation. It was like a real reminder that transformation was needed, is needed. I think about when, I don't know how long it was when we were in sheltering in place, and I called it sheltering in soul, because I knew immediately, or I felt at least immediately, that this was a gift, and it was an invitation from God, from Creator, for higher possibilities, not out of punishment, but out of the next step of our evolving to something greater yet to be. And so I think it was like only a month, 2 months, and there were reports that nature was restoring the human footprint of how we are so rough on our planet. That I think, and I'm trying to remember what I read 2 years ago, but I think that they were testing the air quality was better. Some cycles of nature were returning because we weren't impacting it so much, right? So it was a transformational opportunity, not just for us, but for our collective, for each other, and for our planet we share. So acceptance is a place to pause. And it's not all shiny, happy, good. Oh, I'm accepting and now all is well. Acceptance can be hard because it means we're really looking at what we need to look at. But with compassion. Truly, they need to go together, acceptance and compassion. And from that, I wish I could do it like a mind map, because acceptance then leads into other places. Acceptance leads into compassion's right there, and then it flows into soul solutions and so much more. So, but for me personally, and I see a lot of people still in this place since the pandemic, whether we were consciously aware of it or not, were pulled into a deeper, and I do mean deep, transformational cycle, individually and collectively. And so many of us, myself included, were trying to establish new patterns, and really also had to practice letting go of an old way of being in order for this new way to emerge. And so friendships shifted. Now, anybody out there? Because I know I have this daily conversation with myself. I really need to reach out to so and so. I really need to reach out and see and do. And yet I don't have the capacity to do that. And then I think, oh, they're not really calling me or reaching out to me either. Or I do have some lovely friends that do check on me and want to spend time with me. But I'm in such a deep transformational cycle right now that I do not have the capacity to do what I used to do. And that is a place in the transformational cycle that requires acceptance and grace for yourself and for your friend who's going through a transformational cycle. Heaven knows it, like I'm going to sneeze. So hopefully I won't sneeze right here. But if I do, it's just a way of asking for a blessing. I love that. I always think that whenever we sneeze, it's just a way of giving space for a blessing. Bless you. Why don't we just say that anyway, right? Just bless you. And bless you for watching and being with me, my friend Erica, and those who are watching the replay. So think about life as we know it is no longer the same collectively. And then let's drop it down to an individual level. Many people I know, and I imagine if you just think about yourself and your circle and your circumstances, many people are struggling or facing something that requires more of their energy, more of their capacity to navigate what they're going through, or I like to say growing through. And so accepting if your friends aren't as available. My best friend is super busy right now, and I've been trying to get a hold of her, and she keeps reminding me that she's busy. And I think, yes, I know. So am I. When your best friend's too busy for you, things are going down, right? So what was on my heart was just to expand the concept of acceptance. And what does that look like or feel like to you? And what would that feel like for you to receive unconditional acceptance for who you are, how you are, what you're doing, where you are at in your life, everything about you? How would that feel if you received that? And the way to receive that is to give it to yourself. And I know, trust me when I say I know that how challenging that can be to give ourselves unconditional acceptance. And you may start by noticing the judgments that you hold against yourself. And there are a few, aren't there, right? And think about too, when there's the judge or the critic, the inner critic, that these may be echoes of voices from the past. Your mother, your father, someone who raised you, someone that deeply imprinted a way of being in your being. And so to recognize, first of all, that's not your soul essence. Remember, our soul essence comes from God, comes from the divine. And I believe that when we come into the world, we're pure love and acceptance and all the spirit-filled, grace-filled qualities. And then this world begins to condition us, and we might even say contaminate us. And a lot of the spiritual practice in this world, in the Bible, it says, be in this world, not of this world. Erica, maybe you know where that is in the Bible. I'm not good at citing exact verses, but be in this world, not of this world, to me, is that invitation to connect back to soul essence. Yes, accept your human condition. Accept you're human. You're going to make mistakes. You're imperfect. We're imperfectly perfect. And lay down the burden of striving for something beyond your capacity of where you are. That's my invitation to you. There's a prayer coming to me that was from 12-step programs, and it is it's I think it's one of the most powerful prayers. So it's grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, and the courage. Oh, wait, sorry. Grant me the acceptance to change the things I cannot change. The courage. Oh my word! I can't get the prayer. How does it go? Grant me the now I can't remember this prayer that I've said 1,000 million times. So grant me, I can't even get it. I have to tell you the truth. I just came out of a nap. So I'm a little sleepy, but I have to look this prayer up. This is unbelievable that it is not coming. Erica, do you know this prayer? God, grant me the serenity. Oh, here it comes. Okay, so it's God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can. And the wisdom to know the difference. Thank you. I forgot the God. That's why I wasn't getting it. You know, when you memorize things, you have to remember it in the order you remembered it or you memorized it. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change and the courage to change the things I can and the wisdom to know the difference. I often add, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage and the ability to change the things that I can. Because we can have courage. I have a lot of courage, but I'm not doing anything with it. So sometimes I add the courage and the ability and the motivation and the means to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And I think that prayer speaks a lot to where we are collectively. Thank you, Erica. It was so weird that I've said that prayer for probably 30 years, almost every day. My two prayers I say every day for those of you who, I pray spontaneously from my heart, but I often say the Lord's Prayer and the Serenity Prayer, and also this prayer from Louise Hay, which is more of an affirmative prayer. See if I can remember this one. In the infinity of life where I am always perfect, whole, and complete, I am one with the power that created me. I am totally open and receptive to the abundant flow of prosperity, love, and joy that the universe offers. All my needs are met before I even ask. And so it is. Okay. It's good to memorize some prayers. And I know we're on acceptance, but this came to me this morning. I love my morning ruminations. I wake up, I catch my dreams, and I want to talk about dreams too before we wrap up because it's such a rich time to be working with your dreams. We have Venus in Pisces right now, bringing us into dream time to be with what's in our psyche and our subconscious, to bring up what needs to be revealed, to be healed, so that we can reclaim our essence. Okay, love the Lord's Prayer and the Serenity Prayer and the one you just shared. I will send it to you. I'll post it in the description too. Okay, so anyway, this morning when I was waking up out of my, that in-between state for when you come from sleeping to awake state in hypnosis, or hypnotherapy, it's called the hypnagogic state, but it's sort of that. I think it's the in-between where you're really in your soul, waking up to your human experience. And I heard something about don't pray when you're in fear. And I think a lot of us do. Like, oh my God, I'm in fear, and I'm just going to go to God. I'm going to pray. Pray to be released from fear, and then say your prayer. And I don't know if that makes sense to you, but it made such sense to me. In other words, if I'm in fear and I'm praying and I'm putting energy behind my words, even though the words are prayerful, if it's coming with fear, I may just be creating more fear. So the first prayer would be, God, help me dissolve this fear. And then focus on, with gratitude, like tether into what you believe to be true about God or the universe, however you connect, and give thanks. Thank you, God, for always loving me, protecting me, caring for me. Right where I am, I know that you are with me. Let your body settle and then say your prayer. Okay, we want to expand our faith in prayer, not be limited in fear when we're praying. I hope that makes sense. I get these little, I call them my little downloads in the morning, and I go, well, that's cool. And I think I understand it. It's like a dream symbol. You think you get it, and then there's the layers and layers and layers, much more. So, okay. So, and I did have a quote, but I think I'll read it. I'm gonna drop us into a little bit of a meditation surrounding acceptance. How can we expand our acceptance? Where do you need to expand your acceptance? What do you need to accept about yourself or someone else, right where they are? And like I was saying, every day I am feeling this sort of guilt that I am not the same friend I used to be. Well, because I'm emerging a new me. And so I have to accept where I am in order to emerge the new me, in order to be the new friend and to be at the new capacity that I'm being transformed into. So imagine this, right where you are, whatever transformational cycle you are in, and Erica, you're familiar with this from my classes, that we are like, we are still collectively and individually in different stages of transformation. But the metaphor I use for transformation is when, the caterpillar goes in and creates the chrysalis. And what happens in that process is the dissolving. The caterpillar dissolves completely to a gooey mess of nothing. And yet there is one cell called the imagineal cell that holds the blueprint of the butterfly that will be emerging. But if we were to open that chrysalis too soon, not accepting there was a transformational process happening, that butterfly would never exist. And if we were to help the butterfly when it's breaking out of the chrysalis and try to assist it before it did finished its work, accepting there is a struggle in transformation often, and we always want to thwart the struggle. How many of you have been in like a women's group, and a woman is having a breakdown and starting to cry, and everybody wants to gather around her and stop that, and it's okay, and calming it, when that woman needs to feel her feelings and have her breakthrough? So that's where we need to accept there's a process unfolding, trusting that the universe, God, the divine has got you. But if we're resisting, we are resisting this beautiful unfolding in this process. Hi, Tana. Welcome. So I'm going to take us into a little meditation to expand our acceptance for self, our circumstances, and rippling out. Remember, as we start with us, we ripple out, and that is our gift and contribution to this world we share. So let's drop in for just a moment. Close your eyes if you can, and if you're watching this replay, pause and get yourself set up to have a little cozy, quick meditation. And so we surrender to this moment to dive in deeper to the quality, to the spiritual principle of acceptance. Just turning within to your inner world with the perspective of acceptance. And again, when we are wanting to practice acceptance, we really want to ask compassion to companion us as well, to compassionately assess where we are, what is needing acceptance, to compassionately witness where we have been judging ourselves, judging how our life is unfolding, judging our bodies, judging where we thought we'd be and where we're not, judging others. So just breathing into your body, really deeply connecting as you take your awareness inward, following the breath inward. And imagining breathing into your heart. And this is where I always start here, because I believe this is where God meets us, in our heart. This is where we are closest to God in our human form. Breathing into your heart. And a beautiful, beautiful way I learned to meditate years ago, and I think it was watching an Oprah show, was to imagine inviting God or Jesus, however you connect, into your heart. Be with me. Be with me in this moment as I'm navigating this human experience. Be with me in my heart. And that made me tear up. And maybe it did for you as well. For this is where we disconnect. We get so mired in our day-to-day life that we become so disconnected from that soul line, that lifeline, the connection to the divine. God is ever present in every moment when we're willing to connect. So just imagine having that divine visitor in your heart, the one who can help you witness yourself with love and compassion and acceptance. Imagine, if you will, the most loving energy, the most unconditionally loving, accepting energy ever sitting in your heart with you, inviting you to the sacred view of yourself, where all judgments dissolve, where all fear dissolves. And imagine acceptance flowing through your bloodstream, saturating every cell of your body, expanding your soul essence, waking you back up to the potential God created in you. Now I'd like you to imagine or bring to mind something you've been struggling with, that you've been maybe beating yourself up about, judging yourself, criticizing yourself, or that other people have been criticizing you for. And bring it to your heart and bring it to the divine. Bring it inward. Bring it in to this space of love and acceptance. And if you can imagine, what would God say to you about this? Or what do you need to be reminded of that you've disconnected from in your human experience? Imagine, if you will, these words: you are loved and accepted just for who you are, right where you are. And an invitation to accept yourself as you would a precious new child or a younger version of you. Imagine God asking you, will you love and accept yourself the way that I do? And imagine a prayer has been answered, that you can, and that you're willing, and that acceptance just flows through you in such a magnificent flow that perhaps in this moment you begin to feel more like your soul essence, more connected to the beauty and the uniqueness of who God created you to be. No longer comparing yourself to who you thought you would be or what social media poisons us to believe we should be, but rather who we were created to be in our glory. And now from this space, just asking, what will be different now? Accepting yourself full on in every day and every moment. And if you catch yourself with a judging thought or critical voice, you'll pause, connect to your heart, connect to God, connect to your essence. Breathe in to the energy of acceptance and simply start again. Okay, so just coming back now, just a quick drop in the point of these quick meditations, I have this image of the well, of a well, is that we can in any moment, meditation is many things. For me, it's a way to restore, to drink from the well of infinite possibilities that God provides for us, to restore, to nurture our souls, and to rise up as who we were created to be. Okay, well, I see that I've reached 35 minutes, and I usually keep these kind of short. So I do have two little quotes that I meant to bring in, and I'll get them now. And then we're going to wrap up. If anybody has a question, now's the time to ask. But I love this. I might switch out a word, but this is from Alice Walker. No person is your friend who demands your silence or denies your right to grow. So for me, that just met me where I was. No person is your friend who demands something from you that you're not able to give or denies your right to grow. You taking care of yourself and the way you need to, you'll find out who your friends are, because those who'll get it, who'll say, absolutely, you do you, you be you, take care of you. Those are your true friends, right? And then this one from Lao Tzu, because one believes in oneself, one doesn't try to convince others. This is acceptance, right? Because one is content with oneself, one doesn't need others' approval. Amen. Because one accepts oneself, the whole world accepts him or her. From Lao Tzu. Okay, so those are the two quotes that I found that resonated with the message I wanted to offer today. Thank you, ladies, for being with me today. Watching on the replay, yeah, I knew you'd feel those, Erica. Beautiful. If you're watching the replay, please do comment again. Subscribe if you haven't. Thank you for the gift of your time. I hope that something that I shared during this time met you where you needed to be met, with love and acceptance. Okay, I'll be doing a video in a couple of days for the full moon coming up on February 5th, and lots to say about that. Okay, much love to you all. Take good care of yourself and nurture your beautiful soul. Until next time, thank you. Bye.